It took about 3 months, and I was in the PA hospital in Brisbane, and I eventually got into the rehabilitation area, and I was being given physiotherapy and that to learn to walk again, and things were going a bit slowly, and a friend of mine came to the hospital one day and asked me to come out with him and have a drink at the local pub at Toowong. So we went there, and then we over a couple of drinks, and I just decided, I don't think I need to go back to the hospital. And I went with them to a farm they had there outside Lismore in northern New South Wales, and stayed with them there a while before eventually making it back to Brisbane. But I think my recovery from the motorbike accident was much quicker than it would have been had I stayed in hospital. So I'm very thankful to my friend for helping me to make the decision to leave hospital when I did. And I actually I got a job as a scientific assistant in a high school in Warwick in southeast Queensland, and it was through that I got. One day I was working in a lab in the high school, and one day I came across a brochure from Central Queensland University, or back in those days it was known as the University College of Central Queensland, I think, and I decided there was a bit there about studying externally, and I decided to take up a course. I've always been interested in chemistry, and I know one of the courses I noted was an associate diploma in applied chemistry, which was either 2 years full-time or 4 years part-time externally. So I enrolled externally in that course, and the 4 years sort of actually working and studying at the same time, I found quite difficult at times, and I eventually it was taking about 7 years, and my wife one day suggested to me, we were out riding in Warwick, and she said, why don't we sell our home in Warwick, and we'll move to Rockhampton, and you can finish full time, And I thought that sounded like a much more agreeable option. So I the following week I rang Peter Lawson, who was in the chemistry department at the Rockhampton campus, and Peter had always been very supportive of me throughout my external studies, and he said, "Oh, that's great, Ian. I think you should come up here and move up here and finish your associate diploma." But he said not only that, I think you should enrol in a degree. Do the Bachelor of Applied Science Chemistry. So he with Peter's help, I got my enrolment sorted out, and the following year we moved up to Rockhampton, and we settled in there. Kathy got a job as a nurse at the Mater Hospital, and supported me during my studies. I studied, this was in the early 90s, 1991 to 93. I did 3 years full-time chemistry studies graduated in '94 with a Bachelor of Applied Science Chemistry and the Associate Diploma, and I got a job later that year with QAL in Gladstone, the alumina refinery, and I worked at QAL for about 11 years actually, in some very interesting positions in the laboratories there, chemistry laboratory, and well, it was initially the control laboratory, and then got into the research laboratory during the last 10 years there. And
Dr. Ian Robert McNeely.
Oh yeah, I guess it was all about focus, you know. And not being distracted by your physical disabilities or physical limitations, you know. I think you can the mind is a very powerful tool, and that is I think both my focus in the studies and the was a big part of me helping me get over my physical limitations, you know, as far as the semi-paralysis and walking issues went. That was like when I left the hospital. That was a big like in the hospital environment. You're an invalid, you know, and you're it's very difficult to get out of that mindset. You know, you're being nursed and you're being nurtured by caring people, but the focus is on you as an invalid or a patient, and but when I got out of that environment, I was able to have a different mindset. I was no different to anyone else in my own mind, and that was a great help to me. Getting back to a normal physical state, I guess. Yeah.